Hey everyone, today it's Q&A number
17.
Shalom everybody, welcome to Beit Tefillah and Q&A number 17. If you're new to this channel, this is where we take questions that we receive via email or Facebook Messenger or PMs or even comments or questions to these videos, and we put them here in the Q&A videos so everyone can hear the answers to them. If you have a question, you can post it below in the comments, or you can email us at the email address that you can find in the end credits to all of our videos. And if we use your question, we'll keep you anonymous, of course. This is also our last video of the year, and what a blessing 2021 has been for us. I always like to end the year with one of these Q&A videos, and I do something a little special in the end credits, so stick around and check out the credits when this video is over. Okay, let's hit the first question.
I'm the voice of the people asking the questions.
Yes.
Do we blow the shofar on Yom Kippur, not meaning like we do on Yom Teruah, but in the beginning of a Shabbat for 1 or 2 blows? Is the blowing of the shofar only for a joyful sound? In Numbers 10, 3-10, we read the making of the 2 silver trumpets that was used according to verse 10 for Yom Teruah, as well as for all the other appointed times. So these 2 trumpets were used for joyous sounds as well as for a sound of gathering for the other set-apart days and for going to war. So they were not only for joyous times. I would really like to know if I'm then wrong all of these years for blowing the shofar for the beginning of Yom Kippur.
Okay, good question. There was quite a few questions there in that one, and so I'm just going to combine them all in one single answer. Let me start by stating that the silver trumpets were only to be blown by the Levitical priesthood. We can read about that in Numbers chapter 10, verses 2 and 8. Make 2 silver trumpets for yourself, make them of beaten work, and you shall use them for the gathering of the congregation and for breaking camp. And the sons of Aharon, the priests, blow with the trumpets, and it shall be to you for a law forever throughout your generations. Now the Hebrew word in that verse isn't shofar for trumpets, but it's hetzot sarah, so it's a little bit different than shofar. Okay, blowing the shofar in addition to Yom Teruah is also a call to assemble, and we can read about that starting in Judges 3 verse 27. And it came to be when he arrived that he blew the shofar in the mountains of Ephraim, and the children of yisra'el went down with him from the mountains, with him leading them. And in Isaiah 27:13, and in that day it shall be that a great shofar is blown, and those who are perishing in the land of Ashur and the outcasts in the land of Mitzrayim shall come and shall worship Yehovah on the set-apart mountain in Jerusalem. Shofars can also be used to make announcements or send signals, and a couple examples of that we can read starting in 1 Samuel 13:3. And Jonathan struck the watchpost of the Philistines that was in Geba, and the Philistines heard of it. And Shaul blew with the shofar throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. And in 2 Samuel 2:28, Joab then blew with the shofar, and all the people halted and pursued Yisrael no further, nor did they fight any more. Sometimes to announce the start of Yom Kippur, I will blow a low, somber note at sunset, but that isn't a required thing to do, of course, and just a personal preference. So I don't think you're wrong for blowing one, as it isn't for a joyful noise, but merely to announce the start of the Moed. We know that Yom Teruah is to make a joyful sound or a day of shouting. It is not the day of trumpets, as some people think. It's a day of joyful noise or shouting. So we like to use a shofar to just accentuate, announce the Moed, and to make a joyful noise to Elohim. So, okay, next question.
I was wondering if the Hebrew rooters got something right by accident. Genesis 7, 2-4 and 8, 20-23 seems to indicate that the animals determined clean and unclean are animals God declares worthy of sacrifice. Based upon the sacrifice of Noah and what God said was clean for those sacrifices, and since chickens aren't acceptable as a sacrifice ever, maybe they aren't clean.
Well, first of all, it's a bit strange in Leviticus, where we can read the food laws, that it only mentions birds to avoid eating. It doesn't mention what birds are clean, so we're just told what birds we can't eat. There's also some other things to consider, such as deer, elk, moose, wildebeest, and buffalo. They're all clean animals, yet there's no mention of any of those being sacrificed. And Elohim fed the people with quail in the desert, yet there's no mention of quail being allowed as a sacrifice either. Quite possibly, birds like chickens and turkeys weren't available in the desert where the children of Yisrael were wandering for all those years. The same with buffalo and elk. Maybe Elohim just gave to them for sacrifices what they would commonly have around them. We know that cows and cattle, of course, are clean, and of course they were allowed for sacrifices, but trumpets and shofars are only to be made out of things like kudu horns and stuff, and not out of cattle horns, even though we know that cattle horns do make excellent trumpets. Maybe it's because the typical breed of cattle that was available to them, their horns weren't suitable for shofars. I don't know. We can only speculate. We don't know why that is. So there is some ambiguity here, which does tend to make it puzzling at times. But no, I don't think the Hebrew writers got it right at all. I think they added to the word just like the Christians do. Elohim told us what not to eat as far as birds go, and to say we can't eat chickens is a sin because it's adding to his word. I made a video entitled Chicken, Clean or Unclean for those who may not have seen it, and I'm going to add a link to that below in the description. Okay, next question.
I was wondering what makes people believe that Yeshua and the light are one and the same. This is referencing Genesis 1:3.
Not to sound mean about it, but they only believe nonsense like that because of the New Testament. The Tanakh tells us nothing like that. This is one of those leftover beliefs from churchianity that Messianics and most Hebrew writers cling to.
Residue.
Yeah, residue, exactly. Something that should be gotten rid of once they left the church, and a lot of people will get rid of it the more that they go on and the more that they learn and stuff like that. Quite a few things like this are believed by many people until they study out quite a few things, and then they drop it. And it's common to bring things up from our past that we don't realize were either nonsense or New Testament because they are kind of residual beliefs. Something just like Elohim's name supposedly meaning behold nail, behold hand. It's just utter nonsense, but people cling to that until they learn a little bit of Hebrew and find out the truth. Okay? Okay, next question. We received this one in an email.
If Torah never explicitly mentions Mashiach, then where does the idea come from?
Well, first of all, we need to separate today's definition, idea, or meaning of the word Messiah from the true Hebrew word Mashiach, which actually means anointed. The Christians, the Messianics, they have Messiah more like a title. Okay? Religion today, they like to present a single man as the Messiah when there's not anything at all like that in the Tanakh. Religion treats it as some sort of title, or there's going to be a man to fill this place, and this is what this Jesus or Yeshua guy did. But in the Torah, we have the words for anoint or anointed over 20 times, actually. The Hebrew word Mashiach means to rub with oil, anoint, or consecrate, and from that word is where we get Mashiach, which typically refers to an anointed person. Throughout the Tanakh, we can see Ha Elohim, or the Elohim, which refers to the one and only true God. There is no HaMashiach, or the Messiah, for a number of reasons. Number one, King David and King Saul were both anointed or Mashiach. Both of those men were. Number two, King Cyrus, who freed Daniel and the Jews from their captivity in Babylon, he was anointed or made a Mashiach by Elohim to do this, even though it's written that Cyrus didn't know Elohim. So here's a king who was not set apart and not a Torah keeper, yet Elohim made him a Mashiach. Number three, objects for the tabernacle or temple were anointed or Mashiach. So that word or idea, as we found out, doesn't apply just to people. It can be objects. Mashiach simply means anointed, or as in service to Elohim. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, last question for this video. I was wondering if you have a website with more information.
We used to. That was back some years ago when we were writing books, and we had a lot of free PDF downloads offered on the website, and we talked about the calendar and the timing of the moed, and we had different memes on there and other writings. That's back when my son was doing a lot of writings for it, and he had some of his writings on there as well. And we recently toyed with the idea of putting together another website, but that's not something I'm really interested in doing any longer. I think my best use of time and energy is making these videos as I feel inspired. So
you have some kind of big videos you're thinking about?
Yeah, we have some important ones coming out. Some kind of, there's a couple of bombshells that we want to come out with in 2022, but they take a little bit longer to write those.
Yeah, you have to make sure you have your bases covered.
Yeah, I have to make sure they're studied out very well. So there's going to be a couple big ones coming up, and we're excited to release those. So they're going to take a little more time to put them together before we can come out. So I don't have any idea when they're coming out, but as soon as we can get them together. Well, that's it for this Q&A in 2021. Thanks for watching as always and for being a part of Beit Tefillah. If you haven't subbed to our channel yet, please do so. Thanks for all the emails, comments, and questions, everyone. Please keep them coming. Here's to a great 2022, and we want to say shalom to all of those who are yisra'el and are scattered worldwide in the dispersion.
Everybody be blessed and have a wonderful day.
Okay, next question.
Where was the little chicken?
Gotta watch a video.
What's this white place by your nose? Is it a pimple coming or just a dry skin?
I don't know. I'm so glad that question's on video, though.
Just make sure you edit that part.
Okay. But let's read about the call to assemble, starting with Judges 3, verse 27. What?
You didn't point, so I thought I'd better point for you for the verse.
Hang on a second.
Oh, sorry.
I was just curious. Why are you pointing above my head when I'm reading the verses?
Because don't you always point when you're getting ready for the reference to show up?
No, I only point when I'm doing a video and the thumbnail for the video is up there. I say make sure to watch it. I don't point
I thought you pointed for every reference. I thought I was going to be your Vanna.
And Jonathan struck the watch post of the Philippines. Philippines. Hey, what are you doing? Don't strike my watch post. Okay.
That was before you had to have a vaccination to travel. Should we go back and start over in those sections then?
Yeah, I wonder if we should. We'll just start.